Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, March 7th, 2018 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I am responsible for the flow of the stories I tell. And today we get a little bit of shift with the moon moving out of Scorpio and shifting into Sagittarius, bringing a little bit more fire into the wateriness that we have been treading water in over the last little bit. Before that shift, however, we have one last connection with the moon in Scorpio meeting up with Jupiter in Scorpio. Now Jupiter, this is the last day before Jupiter actually goes retrograde in Scorpio. So the moon is like, hey, let's have a meeting. Let me shine a light on some of this stuff because you're going to be doing some work with Jupiter retrograde. And Jupiter's like, okay, cool. So this connection is happening at 23 degrees, which is 5 energy. 5 energy may tune you into the mental side of things. Now remember, Scorpio energy, lightest light and darkest dark. And the potential is the whole gamut with the whole polarity with Scorpio energy, and especially with Jupiter there highlighting the energy. Now the moon itself also brings the light and the shadows, and it brings the emotional level of things. So mentally you may be connecting, and emotionally you may be connecting to whatever's coming up. So if something pops into your mind, honor it, listen to it, but be responsible for the stories that you tell around it, light or dark, and then see how is Jupiter working to expand this for you, and how are you meant to show up for this? Because anything that pops up is an opportunity to do that deep inner work, to do that shadow work, to do the light work, to do the empowerment work. Remember, that to me is the highest of the highest of Scorpio energy, transformation into empowerment. How are you being called to be empowered by whatever this is? And you will do that by being responsible for the stories that you tell around it. In fact, let's look at our Miracles Now card. Like, is there two here? Just the one. I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. If the shadows rise from this, if you have fears come up with that combination, here's what you do. Reinterpret your fears. Look at the fears instead of shoving them away or being like, I'm not going to be afraid, or I'm too afraid to even deal with it. Look at that part of yourself as a part of yourself that needs to be held, cherished, loved, and then see how you can show up for yourself in and through that. So then we have, like I said, the moon shifting into Sagittarius. That shift will be around 2 p.m. I have a cat hair on my nose and it's really tickly and itchy, and I really want it to go away. So this is why you keep seeing me doing this, because Lala hair. Moon into Sagittarius, 2 p.m. Now, I always mention when the moon shifts signs, or anything shifts signs, sometimes you get a little process. So before 2 p.m. Pacific time, you may feel that lunar shift energy and may need to take a little downtime. You're responsible for yourself, be responsible for what your needs are. But with that moon shifting into Sagittarius, we do get an expansive outlook, which hopefully is going to help us as we've been treading all this water. This is the card that I feel like is for this moon in Sagittarius. Some breakthrough, some expansion, some rebellion, where it's come to some of these energies where we may have been stuck with all of this water. I'm treading water. I'm not really sure where my oasis is. Where's my island? Where am I going? There it is. Taking aim. Let's go for it. Now that moon in Sagittarius is going to meet up with Venus, now in Aries, activate, and Mercury, now in Aries as well. The activation dynamic duo working the Aries process. This is trine energy. So again, we went from water world into fire. Now this could create a little steam. This could create ultimately a little bit of friction because Sagittarius does square the Pisces energy. So there may be some part of you that's like, I really want to be in my flow. And there may be some part of you that's like, I really want to take the action. You have to find your personal balance. That's your yin between being in your flow and taking that guided action. What is your personal work with this? The Aries energy tunes us into our I am vibration. So what is right for you? The world is going to tell you what's right for you, but only you truly know what's right for you. Venus is like, what's right for you? You're worth it. And Mercury is like, what's right for you? Let's write it down. let's mentally focus on that. Let's work that so that we can expand in and through that. And that's what that lunar Sagittarius energy brings. It brings ultimately that expansion. It also brings some learning. There may be some lessons around all of this, which is part of your expansion. You may get the lesson where you don't pay that heed to what you need right now and you fall into that place of exhaustion. In and through these cards, I have the Hermit card, which, fire is kind of social, likes to talk, collaborate, stop, collaborate, and listen. Maybe not listen so much, but I do have the Hermit card, that aloneness energy, and spend a little time being in your own bubble, in your own energetic frame, so that you can be responsible for any of the stories that you're telling and the actions that come from that accordingly. Is there anything else I want to mention in this energy? I think just that Jupiter is about to go retrograde. I think Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio is going to be interesting. We've kind of like cooled it a little bit with the world and everything that's been going on with people's shadows being revealed. I think Jupiter retrograde is going to bring forth a whole new batch. But we could be focusing on everybody else's shadows, but the real work is done when we look at our own shadows. Anything retrograde is a pull within. What are your shadows? What are your wounds? Where are your fears? That Scorpio energy, that shadow energy, are fears. And a lot of times, those times where we do things that we're ashamed of, it comes from that fearful place. It comes from an unempowered place, because I really truly believe that from true empowerment, we're never going to do anything that harms another. So just be really aware of that and choose to reinterpret your fears with a more loving perspective, a more loving attitude in and of yourself. Besides that, in the cards, I have abundance and receptivity in reverse. And this is interesting, especially in light of the Rumi card coming up. This may be part of the fears. The fear of survival. I was thinking as I was driving to my house today, I was like, man, sometimes not really fitting in with the world it's really hard in regards to this. But is this a world where I really want to fit in and be a part of all that's going on? I like the rebel that I am. I like the path that I'm carving. I like my honoring my energy. I like my honoring my integrity. And I feel like any of you guys who are watching this also fall into that alignment. This can come. This will come. The abundance, the receptivity of it. First, you got to get true to yourself and take according action. And you've also got to be okay with, I may never fit in this world. Okay, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Getting to that point, that's going to be a huge shift for you. That's a big, nice little worth shift going on. So let's dive into this Rumi card, shall we? This card. This card. I surge on the uprising wave of love. My life can be summed up in 3 accounts. I was raw. I was cooked. I was burned. Yes. Greater forces of planetary movements affect us all. We experience day and night through the interplay of the Earth, Sun, and Moon. This is a profound and obvious effect. The movements of the cosmos affect us deeply, body and soul. Some movements are perhaps less obvious in form, but just as great, if not more so, an effect upon our spiritual growth and life experience. You are going through a cycle, or very soon will be, by which you will be moved by forces greater than your own personal will. Truth. This is a karmic period, a time during which the movements of greater planetary bodies will have an impact upon the Earth and humanity. This is the way of things, greater cycles affecting smaller ones. The smaller ones are not less important, but they do have to bow to the power of the great, in oneness with the magnificent unfolding divinity that is life itself. What we always have at our disposal is the choice as to how we respond to these affecting movements and cycles. The effect of this karmic cycle is now unfolding in your life is to bring you into sweet surrender and awakening into greater love. What a delicious divine destiny. However, if we sense on one level that a shift has a positive end in store for us, we can encounter resistance and fear born of the ego in response to the stirring of spiritual uprising. We may quake in our holy body and wonder if everything is getting out of control or into some disorder. We will be right in our sense of imminent chaos. The disorder, however, is the ego perspective because its range of vision is too small, too limited to comprehend the greater workings of the planetary systems that move life towards love. That is as it should be. The teacup is not made to hold the ocean, but just a cup of tea. But if we begin to imagine that the cup of tea is preferable to the ocean simply because it's more containable, how much we miss out on. And how terrifying when we are actually thrown into the ocean and moved by it. Its sheer power, its wild force, and its passionate dance with the moon mother might have us fearing that we most certainly will die. Yet the only thing that is dying here and now is your grasp, your attempts at control. Why? Because your heart is more powerful than your fear. So good. Your heart is more powerful than your fear. And it wants to live in total trusting surrender of the unfoldment of life's genius. It wants to let life tap into it. What a wise intention that is. All right, let's skip a little bit because they go on and on. Don't try to swim against the tide of your own journey. Go with it. The divine is there waiting for you, orchestrating waves upon which you may reach the heavenly shore. Yes, the divine is waiting for you, waiting on a picnic blanket of fabric of the heavens, with the sacred feast of earthly bounty just now being unpacked in your honor. Get yourself into that ocean and ride those waves up to your sacred date with the divine right now, sweet beloved. Surf's up. Surf's up. This oracle comes with a message for you. There are changes happening that will be out of your control. This is because you are ready for accelerated life change. Rather than paddling, you'll be caught up in a wave and move farther and faster. Let yourself surge on with that energy of what is happening, leading with your heart and just going with whatever unfolds. This will bring you the best fortune and open you up to the divine destiny that is your birthright of this lifetime. Okay, Rumi, I hear you loud and clear. So, this sacred honoring ritual. Placing your hands on your heart, say the following. The grace of life touches my heart, and I am courageous. I surge, I rise, I meet the divine beloved in every twist and turn. I journey home on the wave of love, and I graciously accept the hand of my divine beloved, guiding me now through love, mercy, and grace. So be it. Close your eyes and focus on your heart. If you wish, you may like to intend to connect to the feeling of love for your heart, wise guide that it is. When you feel that you are done, you have completed your honoring ritual. Powerful stuff. All right. So that being said, you can always book a reading. GaiaBlooming.com. The readings of Joseph are still available, and I think 1 or 2 more days you have to purchase to be entered into the drawing. Thank you to everybody who has purchased. That's it for today. The better it gets, and there is enough love in the world for you. I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.